Have you ever seen that video where a researcher puts a marshmallow in front of a kid and says, hey, I'm gonna go step out for a minute. When I come back, if the marshmallow's still here, I'll give you a second one. And then there's a bunch of funny clips about the kids, touching it, getting really close to it, and then trying to back away, looking all around the room, all that kind of stuff. And then the researcher comes back, and a lot of kids have eaten it, and a lot of kids haven't, and that's usually about delayed gratification, but I want to focus on focus. So when the kids are focusing on the marshmallow, the kids that can't get their attention away from the marshmallow are the ones that generally eat it, if you watch those videos. The kids that avoid eating the marshmallow are the ones that look away. They look all around the room, anywhere but at the marshmallow, and they avoid eating it as a result. And I think that's really powerful because wherever our focus lies, that's what we end up doing or spending our time on or putting all of our energy into. It's kind of like the rudder of a boat. Wherever that little piece is facing in a straight line, that's where the boat is going to start turning. That's where it's going to go, because that's where that rudder is focused in the water. Now, I don't know about you, but I've spent a lot of my life not very focused. I even lost focus while I was trying to come up with the idea and the outline for this video. And my lack of focus has actually cost me a lot of opportunities. My life is still pretty great. I'm really grateful for the life I have, this house, my wife, my family, a lot of great things, my job. And losing focus has kept me from a lot of opportunities that I wish in hindsight that I'd taken up. For example, when I first graduated college, there was a particular field that I wanted to work in. And instead of going after that and pursuing and looking for all the opportunities in that field, I instead just went for whatever the highest paying job was out of college, which turned out to be a big mistake because I ended up hating that job and not feeling like it was gonna go in the direction that I wanted, and I ended up quitting. And so then the job that I got in my field when I decided to actually refocus a little bit wasn't that great because I didn't have that many options. I didn't have as much time. Fortunately, I got some lucky breaks and I was promoted. But if I had just focused from the beginning and put all my effort in the field that I wanted to work in, then I would have been doing a lot better and had a lot more opportunities and not necessarily just had to take the first job offer that came along because I was desperate at that point. And focus doesn't just help you in your job. I also had a time in my life where I had access to a recording studio. I like playing music. And instead of going and taking advantage of that opportunity that I had, just to learn and to grow and hone my craft more, I saw what all the other people were producing in that recording studio, and I went, I'm not actually that good, so what's the point of even trying this when everybody else's product is so much better? And it wasn't really about making something that got me glorification or making music that people listen to. It's just about doing something that I liked, and instead of focusing on I really love to make music, I focused on wow, everybody else is so much better than me, so why even try? And you can see that shift in focus from doing something I love to making it about a comparison to other people actually kept me from taking full advantage of that opportunity. So now that we've covered some of the ways that focus can derail you, what are some ways that it can help you? What can focus get you? Well, it can help you take advantage of opportunities that you have. It can help you achieve your goals, right? If you have a goal and you focus on it, you're much, much more likely to complete that goal than if you spend all your time doing something completely different. And focus can even help you get better at something that you love, whether or not you care if you're any good at it or if it produces anything. Getting better at something that you're interested in or passionate about can just be so life-giving and be an outlet outside of all the other stuff in life that may not be going so well, right? If there's a time where your relationships and your workplace are not going so great, if you can have a hobby or a passion project or something else that you can kind of pour into, that can really take some of the strain off of the hardships that are going on in other areas of your life. So for tips on how to focus, the first thing we're going to do is pick 3 long-term goals, 3 things that we want to be doing, say, 2 years or later in the future, that we want to either make part of our identity or just a skill that we want to grow in, something like that. So say you pick getting in shape. You want to be somebody who takes good care of their body. You don't necessarily need to be the fittest of all of your friends, but you want to be able to go to the doctor without stressing about what the doctor is going to tell you. So you go, okay, what is one thing that I can do? And you want to make sure it's sustainable. One thing, one habit I can start now to help make that possible in the future. And James Clear talks a lot about the power of identity and the habits that we use to reinforce that identity and how that changes and sets many of the directions of our life. And so I definitely recommend getting that book if you want to dive deeper into this. So with being in shape, You don't want to pick, oh, I need to work out every day for half an hour. Oh, and I need to cut my calorie count by half. You want to pick one thing. You don't want to pick both working out for half an hour every day and cutting your calorie count in half. Neither of which are probably all that sustainable when you're just starting out if you're not doing those things already. If you need to make a drastic change, do it incrementally. That's why it's long term. So it's one thing that we're going to do. We can say, oh, I want to work out for 5 minutes every day. I want to do, 50 jumping jacks and then 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and 10 squats. Call it good, and do that every day. And that could be a pretty sustainable rhythm for you if when you do that, you tell yourself just a little bit more, I'm the kind of person who takes good care of my body, or I'm the kind of person who likes working out, whatever that goal is for you. And so take your 3 long-term goals and do that. What is one thing that you can do in a very short period of time, say no more than an hour a week, and that you can use to grow over the course of time to get closer to that goal. And then what you can do is every quarter or so, you can review those and go, okay, do I need to keep that as my goal? Do I need to adjust it? And then you keep your focus on it. And then it's only 3 things that you have to do, right? If you spend half an hour a week on each of those things, it's an hour and a half of your week that you can use, you can leverage to make your long-term goals become a reality. And then we're gonna repeat, but with 3 short-term goals. So maybe your short-term goal is to get a promotion within the next year at work. So what things can you do in order to do that? What's one thing that you can do? And you can't control the outcome of getting promoted. So that's where things get a little bit tricky, right? A lot of these things, you can't control the outcome. You can just control what you input. You can't control the output. You can control the input. So you don't actually get to determine whether or not you get a promotion, right? That's your boss or your supervisor or a different system. And so all you can do is go, okay, this one thing I think is the thing that I have the best chance to get promoted. And maybe that one thing for getting a promotion at work is to show up to work 10 minutes early every day because it shows commitment. It helps you be somebody who takes their work more seriously than trying to get there right on time. It keeps you less stressed, making you a more productive employee. And so those are all great outputs that come about as a result of that one input, right? And so you find one input, one thing you can do in those 3 short-term goals that's going to help you, again, probably no more than an hour a week, that's going to help you over the course of time get to where you want to go. And if it's not part of those 6 things, right, those are your 6 goals you have right now, 3 short-term, 3 long-term, probably just don't do it. But if something comes up that's outside of those 6 goals that's really productive, like a half off of a food plan, well, you're not focusing on your food plan, you're focusing on working out that consistent little workout regimen for 5 minutes a day. So you don't get some shiny object syndrome about that new food plan. At work, there's some new tasks that are totally unrelated to your job that you know that if you volunteer to take them on, that it's not actually going to help you get the promotion, get where you want to go in that structure. So you go, okay, hey, I have a goal. I'm trying to stay focused on this goal that I have over here. So I'm not going to take on that new project that is unrelated to my goal. Now, you only have so much flexibility about that at work, right? You have supervisors and stuff. But you'd be surprised how many things you can say no to and how much easier it is to say no to things when you are focused on what pieces of your identity you want to grow in, what things you want to grow to become the kind of person that you want to be later. So I know all of that sounds pretty simple, right? Just 6 things and not spending more than an hour a week on any of them. Yeah, but where are you going to find another 3 to 6 hours a week, right? It's not easy. So you want to make sure that you get your priorities in order. You can cut some things out. In order to make room for these things. If you're already doing 3 to 5 of those things that you want to be focused on, right? If you want to focus on relationships and you have a weekly thing that you go to, great. You're already doing it. Just keep that. I know that sounds pretty simple in theory, but in practice, it can be a little bit trickier. So I would try making those 3 long-term, 3 short-term goals and seeing about slowly integrating them into your life. Every quarter, revisit them. Keep honing those goals. See what kind of progress you're able to make after 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I think you'll be really amazed what a little bit of focus can do.